Welcome to this episode of Ask an Attorney Anything. What is real estate syndication? Before we get started, I just want to give this disclaimer. This video is purely for educational purposes and does not represent legal advice given by the Wallace Law Group or Stephen E. Wallace. So what is real estate syndication? It allows a real estate investor the buying capability to buy a property much larger than they normally would. Let's use a very simple example. We are going to be purchasing $1 million apartment building. And generally, lenders will provide 75 to 80% of the purchase price as financing. So generally what the syndication does, it bridges the gap between what a lender will provide and what the equity portion is. So generally speaking, a sponsor would get the property under contract, and then they would sell shares of the company, which would represent for the equity amount. So let's assume we're using our example and we're able to get an $800,000 construction loan, and we need to fund $200,000. So generally, what you would do is your client, that the investor would would sell off shares in the company when I mean the company, I mean the entity that's going to be purchasing the apartment building from the seller, and they would issue shares in the company for the $200,000 equity. Now, assuming that you as the sponsor would be putting in a little money, then that $200,000 would be less. And generally, you do it a couple different structures. The historical structure is the general partner, limited partner structure, which would mean that you'd set up a limited partnership, and that you as the sponsor would control the project by being the general partner, and you would have control over most of the financial decisions and operational decisions of the limited partnership. And then the limited partners would either own straight equity, like they would own a percentage of the company, or you would provide them a preferred return annually on their money. Like, for example, they would get a 10% interest on their money every year. And then there also can be a hybrid of this format where they would own a portion of the company and also get preferred returns. One of the great benefits of being a general partner in a syndication, you can also charge fees. Like, for example, oftentimes there would be a management fee, and it's anywhere from 1% to 3%. There would be an acquisition fee, which would be anywhere from 1% to 3% of the purchase price. And then oftentimes, if the general partner owns a property management company, they can also receive a property management fee to manage the investment. Additionally, if the project is ground up construction, the sponsor could also receive anywhere from a 1% to 3% construction management fee. And this is all allowed under the securities laws. And generally, it's analogous to anybody buying stock in any type of public company, or anyone buying a mutual fund or bonds or any other type of security. Now, the difference, though, is since these securities in real estate are not liquid, they're in essence, there's no public market. You can't go to your stockbroker and sell an interest in ABC apartments because there's no market for it. So the securities laws are very specific on who can purchase interests in these types of entities. And generally, there's the term of art is accredited investors. Generally, that's somebody that has high financial worth and has liquidity over 250,000, or makes, has a considerable amount of assets. We'll have a separate video when we go into detail on what exactly is an accredited investor. And then they're also, under certain rules, under the Securities Act, you could also sell to up to 35 quote unquote sophisticated investors who don't meet the accredited investor definition, but have the ability to, or have prior experience in these types of investments. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ask an attorney anything. What is a real estate syndication? Hope all of you stay well and keep learning, and subscribe to our channel above. And we wish you all the best.